Welcome to 6.4. This is Law of Sines and Cosines. So the whole point of the Law of Sines or Law of Cosines is to help you solve for side lengths and angles on non-right triangles. Law of Sines and Cosines can be used on any triangle. It can be used on right triangles, but there isn't too much of a point since regular trig is faster. Okay, so here's the Law of Sines. So the Law of Sines is A over sine of angle A, B over sine of angle B, and C over sine of angle C. Lowercase a is the length of the side that's opposite our capital A, or angle A. Lowercase b is the side opposite angle B, and C is the side length opposite capital C. So lowercase letters are all side lengths, capital letters are all angle measurements, so in degrees. So instead of focusing on the angles and on the letters, focus on the fact that it's opposites. Okay, so lowercase b is opposite capital B. So how we use this? So to find a side, here we need to find C. Since it's not a right triangle, we can't use Pythagorean theorem or any right triangle trigonometry. So we're going to use Law of Sines. So here's our equation. We can fill in all the information we know. So the first thing we don't know A, we know B is 7, and we know lowercase c is just lowercase c. We don't know what angle A is. We know that angle B is 35, and we know that angle C is 105. So this gives us here. We take out all of our useless stuff, and what that means is one of our ratios is completely worthless for us in this question, and that's the A over sine A. Right? We don't know the side length or the angle A, and we're not trying to find it, so we don't need it. So we just eliminate it. Now we can solve for C by cross multiplying. So we are going to do 7 times sine of 105 equals C times the sine of 35. And to get C by itself, we're going to divide by the sine of 35. You could just make these decimals if you would like. So on the left side, 7 times sine of 105 is 6.761. And on the right side, we have 0.5736c. So we're going to divide by sine of 35, or divide by 0.5736 to get 11.787. All right, typically we put as many decimal places as possible just to get the most correct answer. To calculate an angle, so here we're going to have our Law of Sines. We're going to fill in what we know, just like usual. We don't know what A is. B is 4.7, C is 5.5. We don't know angle A, we don't know angle B, but we know angle C is 63. So we can fill that information in. We're going to take out the useless stuff again. A over sine A is not used in this equation. We're looking for sine B. We'll cross multiply. 5.5 times sine of B equals 4.7 times sine of 63. We can make these decimals if we'd like, so the 4.7 times sine of 63 is actually 4.1877. We're going to divide by 5.5 to get 0.7614. And then to get rid of the sine, we're going to use the inverse. So we're going to do sine inverse of 0.7614 to find that the angle is 49.6 degrees. Okay, so that's Law of Sines. Law of Cosines, when it gets here, is 3 different equations. We use these 3 different equations depending on what we need. Like if we're trying to find our side C, we would use the top equation. If we're looking for side B, we would use the middle one. If we're looking for side A, we would use the last one. It's also use a specific one according to what angle we're looking for. If we're looking for angle C, top one, B's, middle one, A for the last one. Still opposites, just like Law of Sines. And the lowercase letters are sides, the capital letters are angles, and let's look at how we use this. So in this question here, what we're looking for is side C. So we're not using Pythagorean theorem or right triangle trig, because they're not right triangles. We're going to use the C equation, c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine c. And we're just going to fill in our information. Lowercase a is 8, lowercase b is 11, and capital C is 37. We can fill those in, and we get c squared equals 8 squared plus 11 squared minus 2 times 8 times 11 times the cosine of 37. What's nice about this is that everything on the right side can be typed in straight in the calculator. So we get 64 plus 121 minus 176 times 0.798, and we can type that in the calculator to get 44.44. Now to get c by itself, we just take the square roots, and we find that c is 6.67, and we're done. Okay, so this is one of the easier types. Notice that it's side angle side, and that's when you're going to use the law of cosines this way. Our other law of cosines will be used with side, side, side. Now this is a harder one. So we fill in our information. A is 5, B is 9, and C is 8. And we are looking for capital C. So we're going to use c squared again. We fill in what we know. So 8 squared equals 5 squared plus 9 squared minus 2 times 5 times 9 times cosine of c. Then we're going to simplify and solve. Now this one's a little bit more complicated because we can't just type everything in the calculator. We have to do this part by part. 5 squared is 25, 9 squared is 81, 2 times 5 times 9 is 90. Now we have to get rid of the 25 and the 81 and the 90 separately. We're going to subtract 25 from both sides, we'll subtract 81 from both sides, and we'll get negative 42. The reason we did it separately is because we can't combine those. Cosine c is a variable. To get rid of the 90 in front, we're going to divide by negative 90 to get 0.4667, and we're going to use inverse trig to solve. We're going to do second cosine of 0.667 or 0.4667, and we find that it's 62.2. Okay, so how do we remember which law to use? Law of sines we use when you're given side side angle, angle angle side, and angle side angle. Law of cosines you use only when you're given side angle side or side side side. That's the easier one to remember. So law of cosines is SSS or SAS. Law of sines is every other one.